I'm all for embracing failure, as you know. But what about victory? That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Badass Agile podcast. You know, we get so engrossed in embrace failure, love failure, learn to love failure. And I talk about it a lot too. It's such an important, critical aspect of the Agile mindset. And yet, we don't often talk about victory. Now, this can really change your game. But first, let's remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. And remember, guys, if this helps you, tell your friends. They can also jump in on the Badass Agile Listener Lounge on Facebook. Links in the show notes below. You get access to exclusives, previews, and unique and colorful live streams. So come on in and join the fun. Okay, here we go. How come people don't like to talk about victory? It's almost become a bad word, which is really strange. Because I think we're just getting used to embracing and accepting the word failure. So long as we annex the meaning of the word to describe learning through experimentation. Well, that's all well and good, but you can't spend a whole sprint just experimenting and trying and flopping all over the place. Should you set your sights on victory? Well, I think you should. Well, but doesn't victory make things like a competition or a contest in which you're being measured? Maybe it does. But let me ask you this. Isn't all of life a competition, a contest of some kind? Is competition bad? I don't think it is, especially if it's with yourself. You know, really the whole point of inspect and adapt, which I think a lot of the benefit of Agile really hinges on, is that you're trying to get better. Put another way, you're competing with yourself constantly. How can I improve? How can I be better? What did I learn that will allow me to hit more home runs next time around? Those are great questions. So I think we should set our eyes on victory. That means changing our mindset in each and every sprint from what will I do and what will I try to what will I get and what will I have. That's what you measure yourself on. In fact, detractors of story point estimation and velocity will prefer to swap them out for organizational key results, objectives, or outcomes of some kind. Those results, those outcomes are victory-based. So I love measuring myself on those victories. And you should too. Because unless you set your target on victory, how else are you going to aim high? How else are you going to crush goals? How else are you going to continuously improve? And listen, if we have any hope at all of making Big Agile more successful, the only way we're going to do it is if we're crushing goals around productivity, cost, time to market, and so on. Now, those are victories that you can set your sights on. When you think about things from a victory perspective, you force yourself to aim high. You allow yourself to get a little bit better each and every sprint, each and every week, maybe even each and every day. And when you start collecting victories, not just lessons learned, but when you shoot for, accomplish, document, and show your victories, now you have something to celebrate. Now you can create that envy, that little fire that other people will be drawn to that helps Agile grow and improve and get better and thrive in your organization. Okay, I'm sold. How do we do it? How do we focus on victory? It's simple. Set little measurable targets. Those targets, in order to be measurable, must be done things. That is to say, describe your sprint goals as done things. What are you going to get? What are you going to have that you didn't have before? That first release to production, in the bag, out the door, in customers' hands. That new e-commerce module that reduces processing fees by 2%. That new marketing funnel that'll bring in an additional 10% revenue each quarter. Capabilities, outcomes, think in those terms. And hey, once you get really good, you can actually track those victories back to real-time measurable results. But there's a big difference between describing your activities in terms of the victories, the results people are going to get or have, as opposed to the stuff that your team's going to do, or even the experiments that you're going to try. And hey, I'm a big fan of both. Listen, we got to do stuff. We got to try stuff. We got to venture into the unknown sometimes. We got to invest in a proposal, in an idea. But that can't be all we do. Now, isn't it true that even your failures can become victories if you learn something? Yes, absolutely. So to my mind, failure is always victory because now you know what not to do. But until you turn that failure into a result, into a done thing, something in the customer or client's hands, something that they get to have, then you haven't actually made progress yet. Now here's the trick. As always, I say start small, which means define your victories in small, achievable pieces. In fact, if you know me, you know that I believe that small but consistent progress over time trumps massive victory any day of the week. So begin by describing small victories. But what the language of victory allows you to do is to force yourself for a little more victory the week after and the week after. So this time you increased revenue by 4%. How about next time you make it 6%? This week, you delivered some new code that brings transaction processing time down to 8 seconds. What about 2? Or what about 7? Progress and momentum and victory is small achievements over time. Don't think of it as being like the Oscars or the Super Bowl, in that it only happens once a year. There should be victories every week, maybe even every day. Why can't we think like that? And what would happen if we did? So why don't you bring this into your team room? Ask the powerful question, what victories do we want this week? What are our customers going to get? What are our stakeholders going to have? What outcomes will they be able to measure that they couldn't before we began this sprint? Now that's a powerful question that creates a different kind of team synergy, a different kind of dedication, commitment, and focus, and a championship attitude that I think all of us are craving. All of us wish we had more of. Bring it to the team, try it this week, and let me know how it goes. Folks, thank you for listening. You can reach out at badassagile.com or find me on Twitter at badass_agile. I love you all. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay badass.